What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another highly combustible reaction. We are jumping into the next one on our Inside the Score journey. Get over and show them all the love in the world. Quick guide to Brahms Symphony number 3. So, can you guess what the next symphony that we're going to watch after this probably is? Yeah. Shout out to Brian for the request. I definitely appreciate it. Let's jump in, check it out together, see what we got.
Brahms's Third Symphony is his shortest, most tightly knit symphony, and it has become one of the most popular. It's characteristic for its amazing, heroic beginning and its famous slow movement. It wasn't always so popular. At the Boston Symphony's first performance,
There's been quite a few that we've run into that haven't always been so popular, right? I think that's like I don't know. There's just certain people back then that were trying to break some rules. There were some composers, there were some rule breakers, there were some shit stirrers, there were some shaker uppers.
hundreds of audience members walked out. It was written in about 4 months on a holiday in Wiesbaden. Once again, Brahms develops his musical ideas with extraordinary motivic rigor. Clara Schumann wrote that all the movements seem to be of one piece, of one beat of the heart. One other strange characteristic of this work is that all the movements end quietly, not with the bang that you'd expect, but he ends each movement with a sense of restraint, and that has a peculiar effect. The first movement is in sonata form, of course, is it ever not? The symphony begins with these 3 notes, which will pervade the whole movement, and they'll even recur in the finale. So, this is the first theme. And so on. It's pretty epic. This closes in a quiet secondary theme, a little warmer. And we go through a few key changes with these ideas in play before we get to A major for the second subject, a graceful pastoral theme in 9/4 time. There's a second part to this theme, which goes like this. The violins take up the second subject theme, freely inverted. And then we get that first 3-note idea in a new form. This leads to a cadence theme. The exposition ends stormily in the minor and is repeated from the beginning. After the repeat, we get the development section. We quickly modulate to C sharp minor, where we have an angry transformation of the gentle pastoral second subject. The second part of the second subject is then worked out in inverted canon in various keys. After this excitement, we die down suddenly into a wonderful E-flat major, where you hear that 3-note figure in horn. And this idea is explored through some wonderful harmonies. As this comes to a close, we hear the first subject almost in the major. We are now far from home in E-flat minor, and as it settles down into the deep, it looks like we're far, far from home. And yet, the three great opening chords suddenly burst forth, now enriched with a few more chords to bring us into the recapitulation without a breath. The first theme is now treated with a more...
I think it's crazy when people point out where things are repeated just in different instruments, different. It's wild to me because when I'm watching these things, if I watch it without an explanation, I might not catch it. It might just be something that subconsciously goes by you because it has little subtle, tiny changes. And it's amazing that when we get people that point it out, you're like, I'm a little dumbfounded. There's so many people that can take, they know so much about classical music. They've got such a knowledge bank in their brain that they can say, oh, when you're listening to one, you can say, wait a minute, I've heard something very similar to that over here. Just like we do with normal music. This is not normal music. We're not talking about 3-minute long lyric fests. We're not talking about just like a few minutes of jamming out. Like we're talking about deep, long music. Music that takes you on a whole mind journey. It's wild to me that maybe anybody can have that much knowledge that they can say, oh, this person over here, this composer took influence from this composer over here when he did this. It all makes sense when they point it out, but it's not something that I think a normal person would catch. Not somebody like me, for sure. Like, I just wouldn't even realize. Sometimes you wouldn't even realize that it was repeating if it's done in a different note, if it's done in a different.
chromatic bass line. The transition theme has some incredible new shifts in harmony, which change to D major, and the second theme then appears in D major, and it follows its normal course, only with a sudden key change to F major, our home key, towards the end. However, for some reason, he doesn't want to stay in F major, and so he insists in changing again to D minor to end his recapitulation. Why does he do this? Well, this means that when we end the recap and get to the start of the coda, we can have one more awesome return to the home key. Then there's more exciting, furious development, a real incredible, expressive climax. But then it all winds down, followed up, as Tovey says, by the inevitable quiet glow of a sunset. The second movement seems pastoral. The first theme is a dialogue between clarinets and lower strings. And the continuation of this theme is just lovely. There's later a second subject melody. There's an extraordinary series of harmonies that bring this section to a close. And so on. Then comes a development of the first theme in cellos, with triplets in the violins. This passes through several keys, developing this main theme, and it eventually comes to a climax before winding down with a few more versions of our main theme. There is one remarkable climax where he draws out the end of the theme into something quite passionate. The famous third movement is actually very easy to follow. There's
Hey, real quick for anybody that's just joining us, if this is the first classical music reaction of mine that you've seen, I'm not the kind of guy that can break it down like this. Keep in mind, I'm hearing a lot of these tracks, a lot of these symphonies, a lot of these pieces for the very, very first time. Like never have I ever took the time to sit down in my life since I got this YouTube channel and listen to anything classical. Sure, I've heard the dun 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 duns and the certain things from certain movies, and we've had orchestral music, but to just sit there and listen to these wonderful kind of old school back in the day music. No, I never. I always thought it was boring. I always thought it was ridiculous. But I have a whole new appreciation for it now that I've matured a little bit more. Had time to sit down and actually put my mind to checking it out. It's like I'm being introduced to a new world. I would never be able to use the terminology that he uses. I would never be able to tell you exactly what something is called. I might not even be able to list off. I could probably list off most of the instruments. I might not be able to list all of them off though. Like I'm still a newbie myself, so all of this is fascinating. All of this is interesting. To hear somebody that knows what they're talking about put the information out there and do it in a way that even us normies can understand is a very, very cool. Like I got nothing but love and respect for Inside the Score. Get over it. Show the love, like
just
seriously.
two contrasting sections. The main theme goes like this, and so on. The way Brahms draws it out is just perfect. Some of the most beautiful music, regardless of whether you're new to classical or a seasoned veteran. The trio has two themes. There's this one, and this one. Amazing music. When the main theme returns, the orchestration is entirely changed, and the final few bars are one last swell of emotion. The finale is terse and dramatic. This is the opening theme. And so on. Then we hear this brief interlude. Yes, this is basically the same as the second movement's second subject. And then the first theme bursts out furiously. And this lets us transition to our second subject. Here is the second subject. This goes through a few different keys and reaches a bunch of cadence themes, including this one. Which will come up later. The development goes on exploring the main theme, as well as some of the others from the exposition. One exciting moment is when that brass figure interlude turns into this. That goes through some great key changes until a huge climax in F major, the home major key. And then suddenly, just like that, we find ourselves in the midst of the recapitulation with no clear re-entry point. And so Brahms recaps the first and second subject in F minor, the home key. One cool moment is towards the end of the recap. He takes that cadence theme and adds the main theme over the top. But then, as we get to the coda, the weirdest thing happens. We're in F, but then suddenly he takes us to the extremely distant key of B minor. And here the coda begins with a new variation of the main theme on muted violas. This soon leads to F minor again, and we hear the main theme with some great reharmonizations, including this major one. And out of the blue, we hear that three-note motif from the first movement.
Gotta bring it back around full circle.
And then that interlude theme, which we first heard in the second movement, then in the finale, then built up to something massive in the finale development, and this now returns, but this time calm and content at last. And finally, our finale main theme has a heroic reharmonization, accompanied by that three-note figure. And lastly, we hear that main theme of the first movement, floating down in violins. And so it ends, not with a bang, but with a quiet, whispered glow. Here are some of my favourite recordings of Brahms 3. I highly recommend that you check out Primephonic, which is a perfect app for listening to classical music on high quality audio, and it has amazing features for discovering more of the music you love. You can use it for 2 months completely free, so check it out, try it, and see if it's right for you. If you want a free 2-month trial of Primephonic, then all the information is in the description of this video. Thank you again for watching.
I love the way he speaks. 100% get over and show inside the score all the love in the world. I appreciate the information being out there for newbies like me to stumble upon so that we can see kind of how it all works, why things fall, where things fall, what pieces are repeated over again. Like that's all important information. When I'm diving into these, it's not something I'm doing really lightly. Like I'm not. It's just it takes me somewhere. It's like therapy. It's like meditation. It's something that I took at very seriously. I tried to let the music take me wherever the music's going to take me. But I know that there's also a backstory. I know that there are things that are also done for a reason. I know that there are composers that have wrote pieces that the feeling inside of the piece is based on what was going on in the world at that time. Like there's so much. It's like emotions and stories woven into musical notes that we're still deciphering way down the line. I don't know. The whole thing is very, very intriguing and cool. And I really feel like I robbed myself from when I was young, not jumping into anything classical, not paying attention to good music. Like, I don't know. But I'm older now and I'm wiser. Get over show inside the score, all the love of the world. The links inside the description. The like whenever you liked it, the dislike button, but the one believe you. Tell the next one about the combustible. You guys be happy, healthy, safe. I love you to the moon and back. Peace.